Hey everybody, PSW60 back for more of Turok 2. What keeps making that noise? This isn't the first level I've heard that in either. Oh, let's not worry about that for now. Maybe we'll figure it out one day. Maybe it's just a quirk of the game. Maybe that guy's psychic, considering he was shooting at us before the door even opened. These questions and more on Turok 2. This is not an obvious trap or anything like that. Oh, just mites. It's not really anything to worry about. Barely even took any damage. Hi there. See that? Always have the charge dart rifle out and ready. As we enter the purple area of the ship. I love a captive audience. Huh, I didn't think I'd be able to sneak past that. The more you know, I guess. Oh. Doesn't look like we can do much here. Although that looks new. That is new. Yet again, we need to try to find our way up to our new toy. We'll get there eventually. First off, we gotta go down. And just in case we missed the firestorm cannon last time, which I don't really know how we would miss the firestorm cannon. I don't know if we can even avoid it. But we do get another one right there. Just in case. Now, we have seen 4 of the 5 stages of Mantid life cycle, I guess I'll say. I mean, maybe 6 stages if you count the eggs. We do also know that we're supposed to be looking for something called the Queen Embryos. 3 of them, to be specific. And I'm not really sure where they fit at in the whole Mantid stages of life kind of thing. Maybe if that's like a pupa stage past once they go past soldiers, or maybe it's kind of a different subspecies entirely. And this is maybe like the Covenant in Halo, where it's a bunch of different kinds of species working together.
Force field down.
Oh hey, there's a force field generator back there. Always good to fire blindly into open rooms. Looks like that took out both of these force fields. Oh, well that's new. Flesh Eater Portal or Talisman Chamber. Well, we'll find out as soon as we can find the switch for it. I was hoping it would be behind one of these walls, but doesn't look like it. Yeah, the elevator was ready and waiting for us. Maybe they're kind of being more welcoming. I mean, these workers didn't really look like they were in the best of working conditions. They probably can't even contact OSHA. I mean, they're just jumping up for hugs. Maybe I feel bad. Let's see what's on the upper path first. That was pretty. Useless, but pretty. I've got a full health up here. We're just going to save that for later. If we do collect it, we're just going to fall onto the lower path anyway. We land right here. But no reason to take that full health. We actually couldn't even if we wanted to. That looks like he's burning his own legs. Might as well help him with that, right? I'm such a kind and generous hunter. I'm also really bad at arcing grenades. There we go. I mean, if this LP has shown anything, I'm really bad at aiming in general. But at least I know the lay of the land. Oh, we found our way up to that new toy already.
PFM layer.
PFM layer. I'll let you guys see what it does before I explain it. PFM is the proximity fragmentation mine layer. Or rather, PFM layer is the proximity fragmentation mine layer. It plops out that little mine that takes a second or so before it gets set up. And once it does, it activates that proximity sensor that you saw. If something walks close enough to the mine, once the sensor goes off, the mine shoots up in the air to about knee height and then explodes in every direction for a pretty decent range. Ooh.
Warp portal activated.
Well, we haven't found a feather yet, so I'm guessing that this is going to be the Flesh Eater portal. Thankfully, it's not really too far away. This level's pretty good about keeping backtracking to a bare minimum. Yep, Flesh Eater. Oh, we're starting with one of the mid-tier Flesh Eaters. Well, like everything else, keep the charged dart rifle at ready. And you'll probably do just fine. Where do we go? Oh. Maybe that's got something to do with it. Looks like these are Lords of the Flesh up here. Oh, they're not dicking around anymore, are they? Thankfully, we've got enough boars to make short work of everybody. And there's our path ahead. Let's get some infighting going, shall we? I think the guy with the sword can actually win this one. Considering those grenades. Yep. I guess he just does more up-close damage, too. More melee damage. Up-close damage. Wow. And we can hear the Lord of the Dead in there. One more charge dart. And one more boar. Maybe one more boar? There we go. What's an extra boar between friends? Or bitter, bloodthirsty enemies, in this case. Not much of a difference sometimes, I guess. I'm actually not doing too bad on health in this one. Ordinarily, I'd be pretty well ripped apart in these things by this point. But a combination of having the cerebral bore and bothering to do practice runs seems to pay off. Getting kind of low on charge dart ammo. Doesn't look like these guys want to bother infighting. It does, however, look like I'm just going to waste a whole bunch of charge darts that I don't really have to waste. Yeah, I don't want to pick a fight with these guys going toe-to-toe if I don't have to. Especially now when I can just kind of take the easy path and show off the wonderful, wonderful... Well, I got their attention. Both of them, it looks like. Last one? Oh, thank God. I didn't try to switch to the shotgun, but... I mean, I'll take it now. I think there's one more in there. Let's see if we can get this guy from a distance. As I do not really want to go in there and meet him face to face. And if I get close enough to... There we go. I was gonna say, if I get close enough to try to take him out with the boar... It's not gonna be pretty. He's gonna know I'm there immediately.
You have found part of the nuke weapon.
They're definitely getting more serious with these flesh eater portals at this point. I mean, we already knew they wanted us dead, but now it's... they want us even more dead. Yeah. More dead than dead. Just try to consider what that means as I refill my health.
Full health.
And then have to quickly switch to a better gun. Man, this gun is just made for taking down drones. We've got a couple of more mites down here, but by a couple I mean one. It's the only one that respawns. Looks like we're starting to get to where there's more eggs at. Or at least they're starting to use them as blockades for the level, now that we're in this, the red sector of the ship. I wonder if that means we're getting closer to where the queen embryos are at. Tuh. That guy didn't even warp in, he just kind of fell out of the ceiling fixtures. The Mantids version of a drop ceiling. Oh. Well, okay. Well, now we've seen proof. The charged dart rifle can kill. So obviously it does damage on its own. I mean, I'd already known that from reading the wiki, but now I got video proof.
Firestorm cannon.
Booby traps everywhere. I'm gonna pretend each of these things in the middle of these rooms are just kind of extensions of that master computer that we are gonna have to take out as soon as we can find it. Nah, that was probably a waste of plasma rounds. Considering we can easily take those guys out with the... well, any melee weapon. But might as well use the Warblade. Did I just take out both? Oh no, there was only one. Well... sounds like there's a Mantid closer than that, too. Sounds like one of the soldiers, actually. There you are. It's nice that the charge dart gives you enough time to perfectly pick your instrument of destruction. We're gonna need to go down there eventually. And I thought that switch opened it up, but nope, it just starts this elevator. And this is kind of ammo and health central, as there are 2 ammo spawners and 2 health spawners in the middle of this this watchtower looking area. Now we can't really go to the other areas too well. Well, at least it doesn't look like we can. But if we look a little bit closer, we can jump down there. And those holes up top aren't really inspiring much confidence in me. Gonna guess we're gonna get ambushed as soon as we hit that switch. Yep. And we're locked in too. Well, we're probably not gonna have a lot of cause to use the PFM layer against much else other than mites. And it does an okay amount of damage, but not a huge amount. So let's get a little bit of breathing room and let's show off our weapon. It's not particularly great when you're already going on the offensive or going on the defensive. Really, if you're actively engaged, it's not that great. It is, however, good at setting up traps for other enemies to walk into. It's probably one of the best weapons for that because it's really one of the only weapons you can do that with. Now hitting that switch, I believe, opened up that force field back at the beginning? No. No, it led us into here. Sorry. We're gonna have to find a force field generator to drop that force field. And this one's a little bit hidden. Not particularly well hidden, but it's a little bit hidden. In fact, you may have seen it already. Not back in here. We don't really need to even go back in here. I just like shooting around corners with the explosive shells on this thing. It is right here. Guarded by a soldier. There we go. Now we can go back in that force field nearby to the first switch that got us into this whole area. But I already know it's down there. And we're gonna need another accessory before we bother going down, otherwise it's just gonna be kind of useless. For now, let's just shoot around a few more corners and... Oh, that was a nice ricochet that just caught him on the chin eventually. God, I love this gun. A couple of PFMs. Isn't really bad. You're probably not going to see me using that, that weapon too often. Oh, this time we get workers instead of mites. That took a little more ammo than I'm happy with. Gonna have to try to work on that in the future. Nothing really else in here. Although we did have one of these guys spawn in. Don't fall. Thank God. Just kind of jumped onto the edge there for a second. Anyhow, one of the drones just happily spawned back in to meet us. I wasn't kidding when I said this place was central for respawning weapons and ammo. Ammo and health. I know what I meant. My mouth just didn't know what I meant. This way looks like it's progress.
Cerebral bore.
Cerebral board was not booby-trapped at all, which is odd. But this looks like one of the destructible walls. Which was booby-trapped. Not booby-trapped very well, but it was booby-trapped. With a drone doing the worm. No, come back. As patient as I am, if there's a way that I can play these games and not necessarily have to wait around,
Mag 60.
I'm gonna take it. It's always one of these guys that just kind of seems to sit there staring at us. I don't completely understand why. Maybe the AI thinks it's dead already?
Firestorm cannon.
This is probably the nastiest trap in this level. Or at least one of the nastiest traps. As soon as we pick up that firestorm cannon, we get a drone on either side of us. And although drones are fairly easily dealt with when they're in front of you, when they're behind you, you're gonna lose a good bit of health.
Full
And as
health.
soon as we pick this up, we're immediately gonna be mobbed by a whole bunch of workers. So let's just take the collective wisdom of the internet and kill it with fire. We missed one? Yep. I mean, I know they're not really spiders, they're kind of more like fleas. But still, kill it with fire. Fire is also extremely good at killing their eggs. We should take wisdom from this. And come to the realization that if you ever have a flea problem, your best bet is to just burn everything. Burn the fleas, burn the eggs, burn your home, burn the dog, everything. Just burn everything. We could burn that guy too, but we're kind of far away. And he'd shoot back at us. Strangely enough, things don't necessarily like being burned. Well, it looks like we've got clear sailing to jump across here. Thought there were some snipers. I guess not. Nope, there are. They're just not there immediately. And this guy hasn't seen us yet. Somehow. This was responsible for a whole lot of wandering around. Not the mite in this egg, but the switch in this room. Can you see it? Right there? It's not even attached to anything.
Warp portal activated.
Just floating there in that egg. Now that should tell you a little something about what was down that hallway next to that soldier that we needed to take the force field out on. And that should also tell you why we couldn't go down that hallway, or at least why it would be kind of useless to go down that hallway right then and there. Oh, that's kind of nice to know. Just create a new angle between them, and suddenly wherever they're aiming at on us, I'm gonna guess it's wherever our center of mass would be in our chest. Suddenly they can't hit us. And the rest of them are just extremely blind, which is impressive for a species that looks like it has compound eyes.
You have found a sacred eagle feather.
Now, we can head back to where that soldier was at. Now, if you remember the walkway that I was looking at going, what is that doing? Poor guy's having a seizure. And his coworker just doesn't care. What kind of working conditions are these guys under? I'll help give you a break, buddy. Apparently you're immune to tranquilizers. I'll give you a very long break. Anyhow, that walkway that I was staring down before I picked up the cerebral bore next to that destructible wall, that's where we're at now. So all I've got to do is walk back up here and turn left. And this is where we got that cerebral bore from. It sounded like there was a drone there because I heard his jetpack, but it doesn't sound like he's following us. So let's just go back through ammo heaven. And give the ancient spirits one more eagle feather in exchange for one more new ability. And there we could hear the talisman chamber opening.
The spirits grant you the Whisperer's Talisman. With this talisman, you call upon ancient voices to lift you over areas that may not be crossed otherwise.
So basically what he's telling us is that our ancestors are going to give us the most uplifting of advice and compliments, and that will show us the way. Kind of gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling, knowing that the ancestors like us that much. You are loved, Turok. Not by the Mantids, though. Or maybe we are loved by this Mantid. He's just kind of wiggling himself in front of us. Turok doesn't want to see that. He's here to hunt. And business before pleasure. As always. Couple of nice ambush spots right outside of this door. What is with these grenades? Did we just need to peek out and activate these guys before we could actually damage them or something? No. The grenades are just broke. I think that's less of a grenade launcher and more of a fireworks launcher. This room was not a fun room to be in during the practice runs. So I had a bad habit of reaching this room with some very low health. And these guys in here did not help you. Or did not help the matter any. If you go further into this room than this, or fire a cerebral bore at any of them, they will all immediately know where you're at. There's one more, it seems. And, yeah, he immediately knew where I was at. Well, at least we don't need to ever get tired of the boar. What is going on? Oh, that explains it. 2 soldiers. Crap. Really should have been better prepared for this. Now there's a full health back in the area that he came out of.
8 lives remaining.
And there was also that full health that I just walked over there. Unfortunately, I did not make it to either of them. Let's get some sweet, sweet vengeance on these two. Yeah, I bet you wish you had a couple of different lives. Now, what I was trying to do with that mine is the PFM layer does have a unique death animation.
Full health.
I'll show it off as soon as I can. It's not really enemy specific, but it is weapon specific. It is exclusive to the PFM layer.
I am Turok!
And the only reason it's exclusive to the PFM layer is because the PFM layer is really the only gun that consistently hits where it's aiming at. I don't think you can do it with other guns, but you might be able to. There's another guy that's temporal, I guess. Oh, we can put him out of his misery, too. Something to note with the PFM layer. Only living things will set it off. It's not a motion sensor. And you don't count as a living thing. It has to be a hostile living enemy. So, like, say, the door opening. That's not going to set it off. You will not set it off. It has to be an enemy. I had a feeling there'd be a second one of those on this side. If nothing else, Turok 2 does love its symmetry.
Layer.
Let's double check for ceiling turrets. And snipers. There we are. There are no ceiling turrets in this room, though. We're not going to go that way quite yet. Looks like we're going to need to find a portal or a force field generator pretty soon. For now, though, let's unlock this door and take out the one thing that's standing between us and a short break. And that's this irritating guy. At least we can coax him into coming to us if we stick around the corner for a brief bit. For now, though, Turok's gonna take a nap in whatever extra-dimensional space this is. And we're going to continue the hunt from there
Game
next time.
saved.
Thanks for watching.